G'day people, I'm Sharon, welcome to my channel. Big thanks today to Susie who's loaned me her Janome 744D overlocker so I can thread it for you. I'm going to start by unthreading a Janome 744D that has been being used to sew. You can see there is a chain here, and to get all the threads out I have cut them off above the thread cones, and now I'm going to de-chain, and to do that I wind my wheel at the bottom here backwards. So I'm essentially making a backward stitch. I go down, up, down, and up. I have undone the chaining sufficiently that when I lift the foot, these should just pull out. If you haven't de-chained by going backwards a couple of times, you'll pull on that and it won't come out. It is now completely unthreaded. I'm going to thread the machine using the colours that are indicated on the tension wheels. In part that's so that it's easier for you to see what each thread does. So green thread at the back over the top, it does not need to go through the second hole there unless you are using a thread that's more like a fishing wire rather than a thread. This then goes through the hole on the left from the back to the front, then over the top and from the back to the front on the lower hole there. So we're going through, over and back down. We then come down. Each of those 4 threads across there are done exactly the same way, with a red thread on the upper. And just so people know, this one is your lower looper, this is the upper looper I'm doing now. Same thing, I'm going to go from the back to the front on the high one. Sorry about my hand being in the way. Pick up that thread, go from the back to the front in the low one. There we are. So I'm not going to go further on each one. That's all I'm going to do with all 4. Open the front of the machine, move this gently to the right and pull it down. In here you can see the instructions on how you are supposed to be threading each part of the machine. I will now show you, having done the very first bit. I'll move the camera, sorry for this shaking. We're now going to move this bit. So the lower looper, which is the one they always tell you to move first or to thread first, down here and through this bit. If you notice here, there is a little bit of a wiggle. There's a hole and some lines. That's what the hole and the lines are indicating there. We need to get the thread to go across here, through that bit and down. It's now going through the above here and coming out underneath. We're following the green diagram. So the green diagram came to there, it comes across to this, which is this piece here. The next piece I'm about to show you has got a thread guide, which is also a switch, and a lot of people don't realize it is a switch. If you push it down to the area that says 2, nothing you can do will make the tension correct. Make sure it's up in the 3-4 area. So the thread needs to go, and I can just push it behind and pull it in. The next place that I have a green place to thread is here. I'm going to use tweezers. It's an awful lot easier to do a lot of these things with tweezers, and hopefully it will keep my hands a little bit further out of the way. Giving myself a centimetre or so. I'm going to push it through there. Whoops. Try not to pull it back. So I've gone through. The next bit that's got a bit of green on it is this piece here. Here I'm going to go from the right to the left and then pick up my thread again. So on the markings we've now gone down here, across through this bit, through that one and that one. You can actually see the next green bit there. But if you try and use it at the moment, the thread is just going to fall out of it. It's not going to work. I've got my needles up as high as they will go, which you can probably not see. And now this piece has got a little handle on it. I need to flick it over to the left. When I did that, my green dot stayed, but I got this little hook as well, which is the important bit that I need. In my left hand, I will hold my green thread, put it under that hook. If I can get my, there we go. And then I need to go through this hook here. There. So what I've just done equates to this hook and what's going to go on over here. The final bit I need to do on my lower looper is to go through the hole. And the hole is there, and right at the moment it's almost impossible to get a thread through it because immediately behind it is this shaft. So I need to move that a little bit so that I can get the thread through that hole without running into the shaft. Using the tweezers, I am going to, I hope, get it through there. It's a lot easier to do some of these things with tweezers than, there we go, it's done. I will now put the thread down between the cutting knife and the foot, there, and take it across to 9 o'clock. That is the lower looper finished, and that's the hardest one to do on the machine. Now I'm going to do the upper looper, which is the one that's in red. So it's this second channel here. I'm pulling the red thread down through there. Same as with the green one, I'm going to bring that thread through the little bit there that's just under where it came down. We watch here, the next place we need to go to is this one, which is marked with red or pink as well. So with my thread, I can go under that little piece and just pull it up. It's actually one that there's an opening underneath of it. We then are following, and this is a little bit hard to see, there's actually a little loop here, and that's there. And I need to get the thread, oops, I've just come out of the one that I'd put it through. There we are. Through that little wire, which is now done. And the final thing I need to do is that I've got to get this thread now through the hole on the upper looper. I give myself about 2 centimeters to put it through. If you're using tweezers, it's a lot easier than using your fingers because your fingers get stuck on things. Push that there, or hold it there. I want to go once again down between the cutter and the foot, and then out to the left. I have now threaded both the green and pink threads, which is the lower looper and the upper looper. I now need to do the needles. So we have the blue thread, it's coming through the tension disc and down here. I come across under, keep that yellow one out the way for the time being, over the top. There's a guide there that separates the left from the right, then there's another one above the needle, and then I'm going to thread the needle. At this point I have threaded the needle from the front to the back. I go down between the foot and the cutter and take that out to the left. That's all 3 of the threads done. The final one is this yellow one. Once again, bring it down, up and over. Take this one to the left guide here, and then the guide immediately above the needle, and then once again thread the needle from front to back. So the left needle is now threaded. I'll also put this one in between the foot and the cutter and over to the left. At this point all 4 threads are done. I'm going to hold the 4 threads. Now up here at the top I'm going to give each of the threads a tug. Let me do that again with the foot down. Each of them are being given a tug. And the reason I'm doing that is because whilst I had these open because the foot was up while I was threading it, there is a possibility that as I did it, the thread only went to the top of the tension discs and didn't bed right down in them. I have just made sure by having this down, the tension discs are closed, and giving them a bit of a tug means that they have all now properly bedded into the tension discs. I personally like to hold those threads and wind the machine through. And at this stage, if I move the camera, you'll be able to see that the chaining has begun. And it's the red stuff that's happening in there. I hope you are feeling a little bit more confident about your machine now, and perhaps not wanting to throw it out the window. Remember that switch with the 2 and 3/4 is really important. See you next time.